There's an urban legend that takes place in my small town, and it goes like this. Beware the Willow Witch. My town is scarier than yours in the fall. How do I know? We have our own witch. Technically, she doesn't live in our town though. No, she resides at the end of a long dirt road leading out of Ada. Travel down the interstate, you know the one, and turn right onto that preternatural little road. You'll know it's the one because your stomach will turn at the sight of it. Turn right onto the road and be sure to use your blinker. No one likes an inconsiderate driver. You'll drive for a few minutes and then instinctively look at your clock, and you'll notice that 30 minutes has passed while you've been driving. A lump will get stuck in your throat, but you'll keep going. You're committed now. The luscious evergreens will subside to sparse spruces and daunting dogwoods. Before you know it, you're at the end of the foreboding road and staring at a corroded, dead-end sign. A deep breath will fight to part your lips, and an uneasy tension will release from your shoulders. You will put your hazard lights on and take a deep breath as you put your car in park. You will leave the vehicle running and briefly part ways with it as you walk towards that dead-end sign. Each step will send shivers down your spine as you pass the sign and walk through the foreboding spruces. Not even a minute's walk from the road, you will find a forgotten cemetery. It is small, maybe 50 graves, all of which are in advanced stages of decay. Your eyes will immediately be drawn to the well in the middle of the cemetery. You will wonder, why would a well be in the middle of a cemetery? As you ponder this, you will begin to hear the wind call to you, like hushed voices. You have no choice but to step up to the well, made of cobblestone, ancient wood, and moss. You will place 2 cold hands on the ledge and peer into its depth. Then you will sing. Beware, beware, the Willow Witch. 'Twas one of us, although a snitch. She called her spirits from the grave, and to evil itself we all did cave. She found us vile, found us wrought, said it was our humanity we forgot. So she called her master upon us all, and our entire village did fall. Beware, beware, the Willow Witch, judgmental, cruel, and still a snitch. You don't know how you know all the words, but you do. You take a gold coin, the only one you could find, bearing the visage of Lady Liberty, and flip it into the well. As it falls, it whistles eerily, and you take note that you never hear it clatter on a stone floor, or drop into water. You will realize something must have caught it. At this revelation, it feels as though a long, bone-thin hand has reached up from the dark well and coiled its spider-like fingers around your heart. You'll be filled with intrusive thoughts, questioning who you are and what your motivations are. Are you really a good person? Why would you disturb the rest of all these souls? Why are you here at this well? If you are pure of heart, this will stop soon, and you'll be able to shout a question into the well, and an old, frail voice will answer with honesty and wisdom. If you are found wanting, you will simply hear a cackle and be on your way. From here, your dreams will be filled with horror. For the rest of your days, you'll hear laughter in each quiet moment, and you will never be at ease. This is your punishment for seeking help from the Willow Witch with poor intentions, and she will torment you until you crawl into that dark, damp well with her, driven to madness. So, when you consider seeking out the Willow Witch, ask yourself this: do you deserve to know the answer to that question? I read this story a few months ago when I was trying to get into the Halloween spirit, but there were some unintended consequences. I began dreaming of this road by my house nearly every night, So one day, with nothing better to do, I decided to drive down it. The craziest thing is, I remember this road leading to a neighbourhood, and in turn, many more roads. This time though, that wasn't the case. Not long after turning down this road, I was met with a dead-end sign and a deep surrounding forest. This made no sense as I live in the suburbs. I knew I had to get out and look. Then, when I got out of my little car, I mindlessly walked past the sign. Numb. Sure enough, there it was. The cemetery and that little cobblestone well. I approached it and put my freckled hands on the ledge and cast my eyes to the only gold I had, my wedding ring. I carefully took it off and flicked it into the well, in a trance. The story was right. There was no sound of it hitting anything. The only thing I heard beside my own breathing was the slight cackle of an old woman emitting from the well. Except, unlike in the story, it turned into a roaring, maniacal laughter. I fell backwards and then scrambled to my feet, desperately seeking my car. Branches whipped and smacked my flushed face as hurried breaths emitted cacophonously from my aching lungs. Finally, my small black car was in my line of sight. I descended among the vehicle and ripped at the handle with wild abandon, desperate to be acquitted from this daunting place. Jamming my keys into the sticky ignition, slamming the gear into reverse, and cramming my foot onto the pedal, I absconded from the dead-end road. I cut my wheel to the left and did a 180, so I could peel out of that damned place like a bat out of hell. I can barely remember the drive home, dissociating nearly the whole way. It wasn't until I broke the precipice of my dingy apartment that the weight of what happened caught up with me. Maybe it wasn't real. Maybe it was, though. On the other hand, how could it be? I was clearly having some kind of breakdown due to all the recent stress. Hell, I'd gone so far as to throw my wedding ring down that well. Not that it even meant much anymore. Amid all these thoughts, I dragged my feet across the worn carpet and to my pull-out bed. Slowly, I crawled into the stiff bed and pulled the covers over me. Clearly, I had some issues to work through. Either I had just encountered a demon brought about by a story I'd read, or I'd begun to have a complete mental breakdown. Amidst my pondering, I floated off to sleep. I truly wish that I was not a creature that needed sleep to survive after that night of terror-fueled slumber. The entire tapestry of my dream-induced horror would drive any man to the precipice of what his mind could handle. I saw the eyes of my mother melting in their sockets, the home I'd grown up in swallowed into the earth, the skin peeled off my bones like ripe fruit. Waking was the kindest mercy God has shown me outside of the inevitable permanent slumber ahead. More days carried on like this until I was driven to return to that well. However, unlike in the story, I couldn't find it. That road just led to a variety of suburban pockets, with no woods to speak of. How can I undo this? Is there any undoing of this? I am afraid. I don't want to be just another footnote in this mediocre, cliché, Blair Witch bullshit. But what choice do I have? These dreams are no longer satisfied with the inner workings of my subconsciousness, as they have begun to leak into my reality. This morning I swore I ran a man over and watched as his large intestine parted from his soft belly onto the front of my car. Of course, I slammed on my brakes, causing a rear-end collision as well. When I left my car to inspect the manslaughter scene, there was no one, except an angry, middle-aged woman in the car behind me. Was this the Willow Witch? Was it mental illness? Was it just sleep deprivation? Either way, I don't know what to do here. I can't find the well, so that's out. How do I get rid of these dreams? Tonight, she spoke to me in my dream. Mostly it was just laughter, as I stared into a deep pool of water. Then I watched as a rippling began. The ripples seemed to take the form of an inky cloak, and then the shroud of a shriveled, ancient woman. Her hair was wispy, white, and floating ethereally around her grey head. Her eyes were bright blue, like a glacial Arctic water. Despite having the appearance of a hag, she spoke like someone's young lover. "Join me in the depths," she whispered as she dissipated back into the water from whence she came. I have no idea what this means, but I want out. I need answers. How do I escape this?